Hello class, welcome to week one of our course, CS 3317. This is a course on mobile application development. As I mentioned in the previous introductory video, we're going to be learning about mobile application development with an emphasis on Flutter. Flutter is a mobile application development framework developed by Google and is based on the Dart programming language. So a couple of things that we're going to be learning in this course is not only how to build mobile applications using Flutter and Dart, we're also going to be learning some best, what I call software development practices when it has to do with developing mobile applications, such as design, best coding practices for testability and maintenance, as well as demoing your product at the end of the course. Okay, so it's going to be great. Now, today I'm just going to be talking about what we're going to be accomplishing in week one. It's going to be very straightforward. In week one, we're going to be looking at chapters 1 and 2 of your textbook. The textbook, again, is Beginning App Development with Flutter. And the subtitle is Creating Cross-Platform Mobile Applications. The author is a certain Rap Payne. Okay, you can find this on Amazon. For the first week, we're going to be discussing chapters 1 and 2 of this textbook. Chapters 1 and 2 of the textbook, and the expectation is that you guys read all of chapters 1 and 2 of the textbook. It's not a lot of stuff to read. For the most part, it's pretty introductory for the first part, just telling you about mobile application development. It introduces you to Flutter, the framework. It talks about what Flutter is, why Flutter, and some of the alternative solutions that you can develop mobile applications if you don't want to use Flutter. For example, to talk about Xamarin, one of my favorites, React Native, and of course there's Flutter in there. Okay, so you would see this in page 7 of the book of chapters 1, and then if you keep going in chapters 2, it's going to start talking about developing in Flutter. And in this chapter, it talks about the tools that are going to be necessary for you to successfully create an mobile application in Flutter. It talks about the Flutter SDK. It talks about Visual Studio Code, which is another option for the IDE. And it also talks about Android Studio, which is also another option for the IDE. Okay, so chapters 2 takes you through the tools that you would need to develop Flutter, and you guys are free to pick whatever tool you want. If you want to use Visual Studio Code, that's fine. If you want to use Android Studio, that's fine. But I think what I'd encourage for this week is that you guys leverage your team boards to discuss what you guys are choosing and why. And if you have any questions, please reach out to me and I should be able to answer those questions. Okay? So at the end of this book, there is the appendix that talks about the programming language Dart. And I'd mentioned that Flutter is based on Dart, D-A-R-T. Dart is a programming language that was created by Google. Okay, it's object-oriented. It feels similar to Java, C#, C++. So those of you that have had experience with object-oriented programming languages, Dart should not be too strange. Okay, so the appendix talks about Dart. Take a look to understand Dart and to study the appendix. And again, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask in the forum. Okay, so in the syllabus, you would see the required reading, chapters 1 and 2 of the textbook. And I'm asking you guys to read all pages in chapters 1 and 2 because it would set you up with a solid foundation to succeed in the rest of the courses. We're hoping that at the end of this week, you guys can demonstrate knowledge of mobile application development and cross-platform development. Okay, cross-platform development is different because we're not only developing a mobile application that's targeted to Android. We're going to use one code base to develop a mobile application that you can target both to Android and to iOS, and that's why it's called cross-platform development. And we'll be talking about this throughout the course, why we chose a cross-platform development framework like Flutter as opposed to using Swift or Kotlin for Android. Okay? And we have some supplementary readings. You're going to see that in the syllabus, supplementary readings. Please take a look at some of those articles. And it's just introduction to mobile application software development lifecycle. Again, one of the things that we're expecting you guys to get out of this course is not only how to write, to develop mobile applications, but also to understand the software development lifecycle for mobile applications. Okay, so, and I think that would wrap that up. So we have that, we have some supplementary readings, and we would have, there's some video content that introduces you to Flutter on YouTube. I recommend that you guys look at that. There's some video content that also gives you a quick introduction to Dart, the programming language. I recommend you guys take a look at that. And at the end of this week, there is a textbook exercise, which is to set up your development environment in order to be able to fully develop and debug mobile applications in Flutter and Dart. Okay, so at the end of this exercise, the expectation is that you guys should have a development environment that's fully functional, and the steps on what to do are documented in this section for textbook activity. Okay, so have fun. It should be fun. If you have any questions, again, office hours, I am always going to be available online. Expect a 24-hour response. If it's urgent, just mark the email with urgent, and I'll try to reach out to you as soon as I can. Leverage the forums, leverage Stack Overflow, and leverage all the resources that you guys have available on the internet for support. Okay? Thank you, and have fun, and we'll see you soon.